most importantly, as a lawyer, I'd like to know how. I mean, we're talking about innovation, technology, how vast everything is moving. I want to know how best you think this can be infused. Is it already ongoing? Talking about our legal system here in Nigeria, what's technology like? What's the innovation like in our legal system here?
Well, that's a very interesting question. And I think it's important for all of us to understand how powerful technology is. Technology has literally infused every facet of human life, from medicine to insurance to education to culture to every single thing, to fashion. And I think the legal profession is not left out. There's been a rapid intrusion of technology into how we now deliver legal services. And it's interesting because the legal profession is one that is generally very conservative, is generally very traditional and very slow to change. But I think, no thanks to COVID, there's been a rapid, since 2020, there's been a rapid adoption of technology. And one of them I can quickly think about is that before 2020, the idea of having virtual court sittings was almost impossible. Even though we had provisions in our rules in most of the superior courts that you could actually have virtual hearings. But now you can be in courts in Port Harcourt, and the judge is sitting in the UK, in London, for instance, and the proceedings can go on. And then the witness can be in Australia, right? I've personally handled trials where the judge, myself, and my clients are in different proceedings. I remember earlier in the year, I had a trial where my client was on the stand, and my client was based in Canada. And because of the distance and the financial implications, he couldn't travel to Port Harcourt to give his evidence. So what do we do? Simple. Adopted technology, set up a projector, logged onto Zoom, made sure all the connections were right, and he was able to give his evidence, right? And now we are currently at address stage, and the matter is going very well. So I think that's one of the things that technology has done for lawyers. Also, we have been able to automate legal research. So we have a lot of tools like Law Pavilion, Nigerian Weekly Law Reports online, which has helped lawyers find cases that they need for their matters quickly. So before now, you would have to scour through the library, read volumes of books just to find a particular case that more or less supports an argument you're trying to make. But now with the aid of the click of a button, you can just type out on your phone and you can get access to all the cases that you need. So there's been a lot of valuable time saved, and it's even more cost effective because now most of these online law reportings are subscription based.
Okay.
Unlike before where you had to buy one copy every week and keep in your library and then start scoring through volumes of them. But now with as low as 2,000 Naira a month, you can have access to every single law report ever published on that system. So
I'm really excited to hear this. Impressive.
There's actually been a lot of innovations, right? Another one I can quickly remember is online filing.
Okay.
So I'm using the Rivers State Judiciary as a focal point because I think the Rivers State Judiciary is arguably one of the leading judiciary in the country when it comes to the adoption of technology. I can tell you that right now, every single process filed in the Rivers State Judiciary is filed online. From the high courts to the magistrate courts, there is no physical filing. So you can literally file any process from anywhere. I just came back to Port Harcourt last night.
Okay.
And I recall that I was at the airport on Tuesday. And from the airport, just with the click of my laptop, I was able to file a process for a matter that my colleague was going to court the next day for.
Wow.
Right?
Okay.
That's something I wouldn't have been able to do without technology.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's been a lot of innovations, and it can only get better from here.
Definitely.
We're moving forward to incorporating blockchain technology. We're moving forward to an era where we have legal tech marketplaces.
Okay.
We're moving forward to an era where we have document automation softwares so that I can be able to review a document within a click of a second, so I don't have to spend billable hours. And how it works is it's beneficial for me because it saves me time, and it's also beneficial for you as the client because it saves you money, right?
Well,
because I bill you hourly. So if I'm spending less time, it means you're spending less money, right? So it's a win-win situation for everyone.
I agree. You literally have covered almost everything.
Trust me, I haven't covered everything. There's still a lot, but then I just said I should mention like the striking ones.
But then again, I feel like in our judicial system here, particularly in River State, Port Harcourt precisely, I feel like there's some innovations that are yet to be adopted. So I would leave you to, maybe tell me the few that you think we need to work on to make, make work faster.
Yeah, I like that you said that, because as much progress as we've made, there's still a lot of things that needs to be done.
Yes.
And I think one of the most striking one is the incorporation of transcribers.
Yes, I agree.
So for those who don't know, transcribers are systems that help you. They're like speech-to-text software, right? You speak into a microphone, and there's a system that transcribes every single thing you have said. And how that is important in the judiciary is that generally judges write longhand. So all the proceedings, everything everyone says, they write it longhand. And what happens is that depending on the health of the judge or the age of the judge, that can really delay proceedings. So, but when you have transcribers, you can find that you can conduct trials faster. You can finish up with taking up the evidence of witnesses faster. And there's no room for human error. Because at the end of the day, the proceedings for the day can be printed and everything is seamless. You might argue that this is difficult to implement, but there have been states that have done it. Okay. For instance, if you go to Bayelsa, they've been able to incorporate transcribers, and because of that, it has helped ensure that cases that would have ordinarily lasted for 2 years are now being dealt with in 6 months. So I think it's an area that the River State Judiciary should look at.
Pay attention to,
yes, and interestingly, I happen to be on the ICT committee of the River State High Courts, and I've made these contributions when we have meetings and everything. It's still a work in progress, and I know it requires a lot of partnership from the government, because the state government obviously has to fund that project. But I think it's something that can be done and should be done.
Definitely.
Yeah.